Hello everyone, my name is Miracle Chase and I will be doing my project based off of the lesson plan included for middle school science. So in this lesson plan, we have a teacher who has decided to teach or extend her students' knowledge on symbiosis and relationships in ecosystems and biospheres and things in life science. So that teacher decided to um, have the students come in. There's a do now or some kind of bell ringer on the board, and then she goes into a lecture or she gives instruction and information on that lesson, and then she decides to have the children do think, pair, share, where they think about what they just learned. They pair up into small groups, and then they have a jigsaw or an activity that they do, and then they come back later on, and then they share out with the rest of their classmates and other group members. I thought that this was a great lesson plan. Looking at the first checkpoint, does the lesson plan contain a writing component? Yes, it does, because the students come in and they're doing a bell ringer or they're doing a warm-up activity as the educator calls it in the lesson. The students are also writing in their journal throughout the whole activity. They're writing in their journal to write Cornell notes. They're writing in their journal for their warm up. They're also writing in their journal as they discuss with other groups. They're writing down notes as far as other symbiotic relationships as they discuss. As far as thinking like a scientist in the terms of writing, using Cornell notes is somewhat scientific related, I guess. However, I do believe that the instructor could have furthered their knowledge as far as giving them maybe like a small lab or a small assignment, writing assignment to do afterwards. Where if it was something as simple as doing a small paragraph over their relationship that they did, or doing a whole summary over all of the relationships that each group talked about. So therefore, when they did go to those different groups and discuss, they could take those notes and then their own experiences and background and create a paper or some form of formative assessment in the form of writing. Just a suggestion. As far as the second bullet point, does the lesson plan require students to interact at some point in an intellectual community? Yes. I love that this instructor decides to get the kids up and moving. She has parts of transition where they move from group to group and they push their chairs under and they go here, they go there. They're talking to other people about a scientific related topic, which is awesome. And then they also get to share their knowledge. That's where that think, pair, share comes in. And that's where that group discussion at the very end gives students the opportunity to have that intellectual conversation with not only their teacher, but also their peers as well. Looking at checkpoint 3, does the lesson plan include a project-based activity? If you're unsure of this, you may want to do some research. So I did not know what project-based activities were. I did not know the name of what it was called. So I did a little research, and project-based activities are just activities that students can do with their hands or something that can move them kinesthetically. So in this lesson, she did and she didn't. The educator did use project-based activity because she gave the students a jigsaw, and that jigsaw did have assignments, and it had them to create their own method on how to. It had the students research their symbiotic relationship. The textbook also allowed them to get background information and research, which is great, project-based learning. And it also gave them she gave them the opportunity to create some form of method on how they're going to carry out that symbiotic relationship. So, yes, it did give project-based learning. However, it could have been more hands-on. She would allow students to maybe design or implement some form of idea that could help, but make it as in a model, or even just a drawing that could have been a little bit more beneficial to those students that aren't just talkers or aren't really good at writing. It gives a role for every single person. As far as did it compare to the real world? Yes. Scientists in the real world, they collaborate. They also do research. So in this lesson, the educator decided to have the students do research. That research was through her lecture. Their research was also through their textbooks and their jigsaw activities. And then they also collaborated when they went to other groups. They asked themselves questions. They created methods. And to create a method, you have to have some form of idea, which could borderline be a hypothesis or some kind of theory that they had to propose. So it does compare to how scientists actually perform in the real world. So they were getting that real world experience in this lesson. For checkpoint 4, the ultimate evaluation is, does this lesson require the students to think like a scientist? Yes. There could be a little bit more tweaks or some more room for differentiation in the lesson, but overall it was a great lesson for students to get their real world experience. They're getting the research, they're getting the information, they're getting to collaborate, they're getting to move around. I thought it was great. Did you know of any specific set of behaviors dedicated to the discipline or study of the discipline? Yes, I did notice that in the conclusion that she stated why she did the certain things that she did, and she talked about her prior research and what Think Pair Share does for students and how helpful it is. So I believe that this educator did do her research. She knows her students. She knows what they're capable of doing and how they will behave. So this lesson was perfect for the type of content that the students were learning. A suggestion for this educator would be to just provide some form of differentiation in the classroom and give students some type of physical aspect, whether it be a writing paper or a lab report that they have to do, a research paper that they have to do in the very end, or something as far as like building or designing a tool or some kind of resource that could help that symbiotic relationship. So once again, my name was Miracle Chase, and this is the University of Arkansas at Monticello's Masters of Art in Teaching program lesson plan evaluation assignment.